As for the negotiations, well, you know, there's nothing to discuss for now. And later, there will be no need. Not entirely clear and contradictory versions from all sides about what these so-called negotiations have led to, and then anyway. All this adorned with a yellow tuft. The process of running into the audacity of Putin, who will demand regions of Ukraine for himself, which he not only hasn't captured, but clearly is incapable of capturing. And all sorts of malicious antics by Putin, which his negotiating team magically transmitted to the Americans. The negotiating team simultaneously smirked, simultaneously flared their nostrils, simultaneously demanded regions of Ukraine and so on. In other words, there is absolutely nothing to talk about yet. There is no solid residue that I would gladly present to you, saying that this is more or less concrete and defined. Nevertheless, we see that despite the latest disgraces of the Russian army, Macron is boiling, Ursula von der Leyen is harshing him in response. What about Paris at all? What about Warsaw? And Macron shoves under the nose the same panoramas of military actions, the same frontline reports, which in its oval, smirking Trump studies. But Macron, it must be said, if he has unsheathed his sword, he does not give up. Well, by the way, maybe Macron is indeed more right. He studied history, most likely of serial scoundrels, and knows that their intentions, as they say, though, are not influenced by size. And that from Putin, with his ridiculous army of drunks, bums, and obese generals, one should expect roughly the same behavior as from Beria or Garot, despite the fact that those maniacs had everything very, very small and in a sad state. The fact is that inadequacy in assessing one's potential is a very important Russian trait. And this inadequacy can already be considered textbook, because it was proven in particular in February 2022 with talks about taking Kyiv in 3 days. So it is quite possible that, encouraged in Ukraine, they will make a move, because for a maniac rapist, even with the most tiny, half-detached penis, it is absolutely impossible to stay put. He's high, he's bursting, the night calls him, the alleys lure him. And then there are these European countries. There's the Baltics, in miniskirts of European freedoms, with their lack of rigidity, the luxury of their healthcare, honest courts, freedom of speech. All of this acts on Putin like a red rag. He cannot see this calmly. How can he resist turning their cities to dust and filling them with rotten corpses? Well, and as is known, any pretext can be found.